Vitality is our ability to have spiritual, emotional, mental, and physical bliss. Some call it paradise. We call it A-game.
Want to send a mass shout out to the A-Game family. What's up with A-Game Nation? And as always, I want to say what's up to my fellow veterans. Today's Marine Corps birthday, what's left of it. And I want to say to all my fellow veterans, I apologize for having this late, but I want to speak to you guys specifically because I don't believe I speak to you guys enough. My apologies because I would look to find a way to acclimate myself to this YouTube thing, doing the best I can to speak life into my peers. But being a fellow veteran, I believe this series will get me on track. And if you don't know the title, it's the Military Mirror, Fit to Fight and Endure. Now, again, this is going to be a series dealing with meshing the 11 general orders with the 10 life values. I understand I'll walk my way through it, but then this is for the betterment of my peers, especially those who are still in the service as enlisted or making an egress from the service and becoming a part of the civilian theater, making that transition. With that being said, let's get down to it. If you remember the first general order, as always, as I said in the previous video, to take charge of this post and all government property in view. Now that's the military enlisted definition. The other part I'm going to move into deals with the number 2 value, the health, excuse me. Now, when it comes down to your health, we are all accustomed to waking up at 5 o'clock in the morning, wearing those military booty shorts, green skivvies, and all that bullshit, and run around, sneakers and everything, going on our run, get the blood pumping, get our neurons firing. That way, go in there, shit, shower, shave, get ourselves in order, make our beds, all that happy horse shit, and get to work. In an idea scenario. See, this is before A-Game days. Around that time in the military, I was at my peak health. I was able to do about 35, 40 pull-ups, push-ups. I was good. I actually had some definition in my chest. Midsection slim, not that far off. But the thing was, back then, always was out moving, hard charging, playing basketball, even joined the basketball team. Team was kind of ass, was what it was. Played baseball, flag football, always loved to be active, just always going. Now, the thing was, that level of activity kept me from overthinking a lot. Now, I dealt with a whole heap of shit during my 4 years in the Marine Corps. But being able to be that active, be mobile, get that energy up, had them endorphins going, some of that dopamine too. I was able to be mentally fit at the time. I was able to find an escape. I was able to connect with fellow veterans. Now, what came into issue is because my connectivity of not with how I interacted with senior enlisted men and officers. But what that triggered was a lot of jealousy from those in my unit. And part of the problems I was dealing with is because I was rising in the ranks. When we deal with things called pros and cons, dealing with your proficiency, your ability to do certain things, and attention to detail. Then your conduct, how you carried yourself, how you treated others, and so on. And my pros and cons were very high. But the fact that I had my weapons platoon commander happened to shoot himself in the foot dumbass. And because he believed I was laughing at him, which I wasn't, because I never seen anybody shoot themselves. To see that plume of blood, I never forgot about that. This individual made it very stressful to even entertain the idea of seeking a promotion. In spite of getting fucked over in Guantanamo Bay, Cuba, sitting on a post with Lance Corporal Androlowitz, you piece of shit. Him sleeping on post and me being the senior man on post, he snuck past my post and knocked on my executive office door. And who got the fall for that one? I had to take ownership of that. And when it came to the promotion part, because I was supposed to get promoted to Lance Corporal that day. So when it came to me and they stood in front of me and they had my Lance Corporal chevrons on, everybody in the unit was ordered to turn their back on me. And then when they passed me and I didn't get my chevrons put on, they would have turned right back around. Now, me at that formation, I went looking for that little stubby motherfucker. But during the formation, I learned that they sent him to the other side for his safety and my sanity. That led me to a little bit of depression at the time because I was so amped up about earning my place as an effective leader. I was reading my knowledge. I was worried about my cadence because some of them had an issue with me being able to create military cadence on the fly. So the thing was, they were all motivated or something like that. They just try to keep up. But then again, when it comes to being denied billets of leadership, that can lead to a sense of failure, depression, lack of achievement. Then, with me being at that depressed state, my anger took over. And so with a lack of judgment, I had a friend who was a Jamaican friend, Lance. He was a cook on the other side, on Windward side. And he said, look, man, I'm sorry all that happened, whatever, let's kick back and chill and talk. So we went to his house, chilled, had his family there. And what I didn't know, they had in the freezer, they had a bunch of mixed drink. They had like some kind of number of different alcohols in there, but it had Jamaican overproof rum, was about 180 proof. So me being pissed off at the time, we were watching, I think it was Milwaukee versus Detroit, like a first round basketball game. And so I go sitting there drinking and whatnot. The room started spinning. Every time he changed the channel, the room would shift. I'm like, oh shit, this ain't good. I blacked out. Woke up, and to my dismay, he had an elderly neighbor looking at me while I was in there grinding against the garbage dumpster with no music. I was that fucked up. So they had to walk me back to the house. I blacked out again because he put me in the Jeep to get me to the pier. Woke up. I forgot what I was saying for a good few minutes, blacked out again. Woke up, and we're at the pier. I was okay for about a good 2 minutes until I decided to get a wild hair in my ass. Like, you know what? I feel like going skinny dipping. And like, wait, hold on. They had 3 people try to keep me from taking my clothes off and jumping in the fucking Guantanamo Bay. So they sat me down. They talked to me. And it was cool. Now, my executive officer happened to be there. He started talking to me. I didn't recognize him at first. I just remember bars, but I didn't think nothing of it. And then he made the wrong idea and asked me, well, what I thought about Cuba. I went on tirade and said, Cuba? Man, fuck Cuba. Fuck Cuba, fuck this. I went on a whole shopping list of everything I said fuck to, which went on for a good 2-3 minutes. And then I blacked out. So I woke up. It wasn't that long. Got me on the little ferry boat, seeing manatees out there. I think one was looking at me all crazy, like he's off. So I'm sitting there, and they got me quiet. And sure enough, down on the side of the pier, I was okay. We were waiting for the van to go right back to the barracks. Now I was cool until I saw a black cat. Black cat walked around, sat on my lap. I was like, oh, good kitty. And I was okay till he clawed my thigh, grabbed his little tail, swung him around 3 times, and threw him into the Guantanamo Bay, into a school of jellyfish. Whatever happened to him, Sorry. So I go back to my barracks. I start freestyle rapping, drunk as shit, singing I Get Around. I mixed that with Hit 'Em Up, and I slurred all the words up. I blacked out. Got back to the barracks. In the morning, I woke up with my face rubbing against the wall, a cold wall. I had one shoe on, and I was on the toilet. You put that together. And I end up having my platoon sergeant come and knock on the door. Hey, second officer needs to see you. So, knowing I was fucked up, after the fact, I tried to fight my roommate who moved out the day I got drunk, and I ended up swinging at the bed, bouncing off the bed, falling asleep on the floor. Somehow I stumbled to the bathroom and fell asleep on the toilet. Now I go down there and stand tall in front of the executive officer. And he sat me down and he's like, you know what? You're not the type of guy who gets into trouble. I understand the stress of you being the senior man of the post and dealing with our drawlers. And there's nothing that we can do about that. But the thing is, like, look, because of who you are and how you carry yourself usually, we're going to let you off with a warning. Don't let this happen again. Now, I told that story because I want us as military men, we need to put our health as a priority. A lot of us have endured a lot of things. A lot of us are going to endure a lot of things, especially re-entering the civilian theater as military veterans. You're going to have people who are not going to take your health or well-being serious. There's going to be people who are going to treat you some kind of way where you left your best part of yourself and your sanity out there in that battlefield or at that unit. There are going to be times where your family was your unit, and the people you came home to, you're not going to fucking stand. Some of you are going to be having separation anxiety, having to deal with you calling home to your girlfriend or significant other and find out either she's moved on from you, or even worse, we went on float. You'll get them Dear John videos or letters. And we had some guy sitting around like, yeah, that's my girl. She's doing her thing. She's giving me a show. Check it out. And then you see some guy's hairy ass come in there and he's pounding away at this chick. Now, how's that got to feel? Some guys know you have to go on the float. You're on the quarterdeck getting ready to salute the pier. And then the same family you came to see you off gets in the car with another, got Jody taking your girl and your family in the car that you bought. So for the next 6 months or the time of the float, your post had been occupied. There's a lot of things that us military men tend to deal with, especially in the civilian theater, because it's a wild kingdom out here. But again, as always, you have to remember this. You have to take charge of your post and everything you govern, mainly here and here, because your health will be tested. There's going to be some people who don't give a fuck about you being depressed, you dealing with your injuries. Some of you might be missing limbs, missing part of your better self. Some are not going to give a fuck about who you lost. But you have to remember, you got to remain anchored fucking here. You have to do what you had to do because some of your brothers out there did not come home or cannot come home. There's some guys who are alive now who will be in quarantine because they decided to want to eat out prostitutes in a different country. And they got to a communicable disease that they have no cure for here. So once you do some silly shit like that, you cannot come back. I told guys about black herpes. I've seen guys sit there and drink a brown drink in a strip club after a chick basically squatted on there and emptied it herself, knowing damn well she's had a battalion ran through her. Sometimes we have to be mindful of the vices that we could become slaves to, because some of us can't deal with that pressure. Some of us dealing with that blade right against our wrist. We're trying to find salvation at the bottom of a bottle, or pills. Or some guys honestly believe that they can fuck their way to fulfillment. They can't. See, nowadays it's wild out here. You got chicks who are allowing the whole community to run through her, and they should dare kiss you in the mouth like it's cool. A lot of us are not getting tested at the clinics, seeing about our STDs and our health, getting an STD check or what have you. Some guys are to the point where they're so desperate in their vices, they'll risk life and limb to go sell sperm or even their plasma. I've dropped too many people off doing that crazy shit. Some of us are so gone in our head that we have to deal with the wild lands of society. Some of us are outright homeless. Some of us are dealing with things where we're in shitty jobs to where we start thinking low of ourselves. Some start thinking about, you know what, I wish I stayed in the military because at least I had 3 hots and a cot and I had at least a sense of family there. At least of people who kept me on point. Some of us don't have that. Some of us are lucky enough to have brothers out here that really give a shit about our agency, about giving us wellness check. How you doing? I had you in mind. You okay? Because suicide is not limited to civilian theater. There's some of us who took ourselves out in many interesting means and ways. I do what I do in spite of me dealing with PTSD, clinical depression, tinnitus in the ear, bilateral feet, knees, endure a lot of pain because my A gunner, Lance Corporal Wilson, cannot. I don't just have to live my own life, I have to live for him because he was treated as the runt of the unit. And being able to sit there and talk to him and understand how to communicate with him, he was able to have that confidence within himself. And I promised him, I said, look, with them basically putting you under my charge, they're doing this as an insult. But I'm going to tell you what, I promise you on my life, I'm going to train you as best as humanly possible to be better than me. And I made him repeat it because great leaders create great leaders. And in giving him that confidence and that direction, we end up being the best goddamn unit in the whole battalion, if not the division. Out of 90 shots, we hit 88 of our rockets. 0351, shooting the small shoulder-mounted assault weapon, which has been absorbed by 0311s, which I've been told. But during our time, we were kicking ass and taking motherfucking names. All because we took pride in what we were and what we do. We took charge of our post. I let him shoot rockets, and everything I taught him, he sat there and executed to the letter. That helped with his confidence because he was out there a stammering mess. They thought he was some dumb redneck buttfuck from wherever. And because in showing that belief in him, he started believing in himself and he started walking different, talking different. I made it available to talk to him because some people just need your time. an attentive ear. Because sometimes they can't get it at home. This is why we're about my fellow veterans making the transition, not just in the service, but making the transition back here to the civilian theater, because it is all right war out here. It's more psychological, emotional, spiritual, more than anything. What do you do when you lose your job? Or if you don't lose your job, you got people fucking with you on your job. Well, the fact they abuse the fact that you work hard, that you're about attention to detail, and they send these shitbirds home. So where you got to clean up after them. Who can you talk to when you're dealing with the stressors at home, where you got a family you're trying to maintain, and you understand the definition of the longest distance you will ever feel is within arm's reach? When you're laying in bed with an enemy. Sometimes you birth enemies. Dealing with parental political politics. Meanwhile, you got individuals dealing with punani politics, talking about stupid shit. When you can use your wealth of information. Like, you know what? Hey, brother, I need somebody to go to the gym with me. I need someone to go out to the range with me. Talk to me. Chill out. Get these thoughts out of my head. This is why health is the number 2 reason next to spiritual. You have to be physically fit, not just physically fit, mentally fit, spiritually fit, because you have to endure. Spiritual warfare is no fucking joke, because there's going to be challenges where you're going to need a brother next to you, onto your left and your right sometimes, to get you through that war, to help you get you over that hump. We got to be mindful of what we eat, not just as far as food, but what we consume. A lot of misinformation out here, especially a lot of these broke dick conversations that don't benefit you in any kind of way. We got to be sharpening our minds, keeping our skills sharp, ready to defend ourselves, because when it's time to go, it's time to get up and go. There's no worrying about, look, let me finish this food. No, you drop your shit and get into the shit. Preparation. Sometimes dealing with spiritual warfare is learning how to give yourself time to think. Slow everything fucking down so you make an honest decision for yourself and those under your charge. Then it comes to the arena of sex. How often have you been tested? How often do you have that conversation with the people you deal with? Are the temptations too great to where not only are you looking to be a Jonathan, but put yourself in harm's way? See, part of that spiritual warfare, that fitness there, you need a level of discipline and dignity. Everything you can hit ain't meant to be. It's called target assessment. And sure, there's some women that got some bodies out here, caked up and caked out. See my shirt? When she don't need a belt. And I like women with nice little bodies and everything like that. But see, if you're talking about spiritual warfare and you're vetting women out, the fuck's up with her mental? What's going on with attitude? What's up in here? Do you value yourself to let her know if she's up to snuff or not? Because sometimes you want to lay in bed with insurgents. And you wonder why everything you ever built or ever aspired to build is compromised. That plays a major part in your health, because that will stress you the fuck out, and to the point where you will put yourself in harm's way. This is why I need to tell my brothers out here. I know you have your respective concerns with the VA hospital, given my personal experience and your own. But we have to make our appointments. That's another stressor we don't need. People giving us shit because we don't meet our appointments on time. If you can't make it, call the people up. Let them know, hey, give my time to somebody else. I need to reschedule. It only takes a few minutes. Aside from that, we have to be mindful about the necessity of sleep. Also deal with sleep apnea. Now, many times they gave me about 5 CPAPs before they sent me to sleep dental and gave me an oral appliance. That way I'm able to get some sleep. But see, even better, this right here, this has helped me get the best sleep I've got in years. And it's a restful sleep. Not where I wake up and I'm still dead tired. See, this right here, being on A game is more than just a dick pill. It helps get some of the toxins out. And I subscribe to you, and I suggest you guys look at the website and see all the different herbs and things that help, because with being on this for a whole year, I've been feeling awesome. And now that I'm executing Project Phoenix, which is more than just getting into the gym, I'm getting everything else in order. That financial health, the spiritual health, the dwelling, the health of my dwelling, my appearance, my family, all the external and the internal 5 in order. There should be no fear in putting your health as a priority. Because the thing is, if you don't take care of yourself, who will? What does it mean to have all the money in the world only to spend it frivolously, sitting on a machine in a hospital trying to exist? All that superficial shit don't mean anything if you're not well here, if you're not well here, if your other areas are mighty sickly. This is important to us as veterans, because if you want to admit it or not, you have to be fit in order to endure this shit. You have to. So I want to say in closing, I didn't say it in the last video, but I want you guys to be open and forthcoming with your personal experiences. You can either send the email at genuinearticle@gmail.com or put it in the comment section. These are conversations we need to have, because a lot of times we get dismissed as a niche market. You get sick and tired of us being presented in front of football games and sporting events, or that as political chess pieces or decor. And then when they're done, they basically kick you between the shoulder blades and get the fuck back out of here, baby killer. Take pride in your health. Take pride in who you are and what brought you here. But always remember, when you see this, cement this in your mind, to take charge of this post and all that you govern. That's real shit. So salute to you guys. I got love for my veterans. You already know what it is, A Game Nation. Hit the code Ronin10 for a 10% discount. And look, we're here to kick ass and take names. This is the 4th quarter. We've been sitting there lollygagging and playing grab ass for far too long. Put a premium on your health, because you need to endure the spiritual warfare, because it's going to get far more interesting with each passing day. The time is now. It's time to get up and get at it. So salute to you guys. I want you to be safe, kick ass and take names. Super Fi.